And Dante, yes, Zadia behaved like David almost from the last season, trying to get in front of the enemy and being butthurt and actually then putting hands on Dante. There is no excuse for any man or woman to put their hands on them. I was very stern with David from last season. I'm going to be very, very stern with Zadia from this particular season because no matter the frustration, do you ever in your life put your hands on somebody? And she's just proven exactly what we said. When the girls called you aggressive, this is what we meant, and people didn't understand it. And I'm gonna say it straight: verbals lead to physicals, right? Not always, but if they start verbal, they can go to physical. This is the problem with abusive behavior, right? And that's what I was saying about being aggressive. I'm not saying that she was actually being abusive, by the way. I'm just kind of giving an example. But you know, talking about being aggressive, she was being aggressive, you know, with the way she was dealing with the Aisha situation, that kind of barking that she was kind of doing. When I say barking, in the sense of the fact that the way she ordered, the way she toned what she said, you know, it was beef with her and Aisha, and it became just nasty girl behavior. And look where we ended up. So when we say these things, we don't mean this to be, oh, you guys always talk about abuse and stuff like that, and da 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 da, and you guys always talk about, you know, trying to police this, police that. And it's like, nah, there are real things that happen, and we've just seen with Dante and Zadia. Now, here's the thing. Had Dante been a man that couldn't control himself, this could have ended very, very badly. Right? We thank God that he's a man of restraint and a man of calmness, and we needed that. And every man should be that. That's first and foremost. But secondly, why does Zadia feel that she had the ability to get into a man's face, especially after leaving the first time round and then coming back? That was premeditated. That was aggressive. That was bullyish. And that was trying to almost intimidate him because you didn't get your way anymore, Zadia. Right? And we saw this from earlier in the season about her energy that she brings to the table. And listen, I think Zadia is so beautiful. Oh my God, like fam, Zadia is so buff. I look at her and I'm like, you know, this lady is so nice. But right now, the insides are not matching. Okay? I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I've been talking for quite a few minutes. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the upload. You got the minerals, you got the minerals. Stay hydrated because the streets out there are hot. All right, great. So, talking about obviously about Dante, sorry, and Zadia's situation. I want to talk specifically, you know, about the putting the hands off. We can do another video maybe tomorrow, dealing more in depth with the actual encounter in total. But Zadia actually left to come back. At the point where you leave to come back, that's now premeditated. At the point you come back to come and engage the conversation, you had time to think about it, you wanted to come back, you wanted to win. And we all do stupid stuff and we get vexed and we all get annoyed and we all get to a point where we, you know, when you have an argument and you said, I wish I said this in an argument, right? We all wish we could have a do-over. Fine, okay, you have a do-over. But you come and do a do-over and then you stand on top of a brother, and she called that, I gave him the mummy bear talk. What? No, you didn't give anybody no mother talk. What you gave him was a verbal tirade, and what you gave him was intimidation, and what you gave him was some bullying. And because he was calm about it, you continued. Had he stood up and also got in your face like that as well, this could have escalated really, really badly. So we're going to hold you to account, Zadia. Right? Do you not find it suspicious that my character went from good to no, I don't find it suspicious. They've called you out. The show production has shown you for what you are, which is aggressive and hurt. And that needs to change. The aggression is coming from the place of hurt. But, you know, even me saying that is kind of being graceful, because had a man done this, we wouldn't care what his background was as to why he did what he did. Right? But this is similar to the David situation, right? How he tried to hold Liz, right? When she was trying to let him go because he wanted to get ahead of the enemy. Here's the thing. Zadia had that same inflated ego that he had. in that moment. And also similar to Kyra kind of situation where you're hurt and you want to get back the person because you heard her say, you ain't gonna play me. He ain't gonna play me. Nobody played you, sis. He's told you straight, I tried to come forward towards you, but you weren't having it. I tried to step to you, come walking with you, you weren't having it. Right? You had your other option, Naeem, on the table, and he said, listen, I don't want to stick around for that. I'm going to go with what I need to go with. And so you got annoyed about the fact that he decided not to do it. Now, listen, maybe he could have been a better communicator in terms of how he communicated the message, right? Been a bit more clear about the Aisha thing. But you don't have to. No, listen, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, okay, he does kind of have to. Let me say that, take that back. He does have to in the sense of if they've built up a very strong connection. If they've built up such a strong connection, it would have been wise for him to have let her know, hey, look, I've got Aisha in the background. I think it kind of crept up on him, but still at the same time, he could have communicated that better. But for her to react the way she did, there is no stimulus that requires that amount of energy she put out. That is the reason why we say these people like when they do this stuff have no excuse. The energy you're putting out right now does not match the input that was put in. Coming out, oh boy, the way you did, standing on top of him, and then pointing, and then touching his nose, demeaning him, degrading him, belittling him in that same action. Why? And I keep comparing it to the David situation because the way he wanted to control the narrative was problematic. Right? And this is why we already said about the whole Brown Girl squad. Her and Camille are aggressive and they're mean and they're catty. And it's disappointing. Right? It's disappointing. We've got Camille here literally holding down Cornelius for kidnap and ransom, it feels like. And now we've got Zadia here who can't take rejection very well to the point she has to come back and put her hands on somebody. Yes, she put her hands on him. It doesn't matter whether she slapped him or whether she had to touch his nose. She put hands on him. And nobody has the right to put hands on anybody. We're not going to minimalize it. The same way I didn't minimalize, David for putting his hands on Liz. You don't do that. Right? There should have been a really strong apology, the same way that David did. Now, I'm hoping at reunion, this will get done. I don't know if it will, but we hope at a reunion, we'll hear a very strong and well thought out, processed apology from Zadia, where she understands what she contributed towards this moment and what she did. Right? You vex that he planned. And do you know what? It makes it worse because of what she says after. After she has to now, not only does she have to trash Dante and say he's fake and everything, okay, cool, you're angry at him, but you got to bring Aisha into it. And that's when I realized, no, this girl was just mean. Basically saying that Aisha ain't got nothing on you. Why did you choose her? Long talks about nothing. How do you know what they talk about? How do you know the talks that he has are nothing? She's like, oh, long talks about nothing. How do you know? Do you know what they talk about? Right? He's like, this is what you chose. Right? It makes no sense. And Aisha is dumb and have fun with that connection. What? Sis, you got a beef with Dante? Take it out on Dante. Why are you taking it out on Aisha for? Why are you saying what you're saying? So it goes beyond just the physical putting hands on Dante now and getting domestic, because it ends up going towards almost domestic violence. We're going to talk about that really. But the truth of the matter is, you then have to come and degrade another fellow black woman, but you're talking about screaming out Brown Squad. And see, stuff like that is problematic. So I don't find it suspicious that they showed you in this way. I don't find it suspicious that your character is being questioned. No, we don't find it suspicious. Your behavior is right here. And we're going to talk about Naeem's behavior. It is an enabler behavior. And I find it displeasing to see Naeem's behavior, because you get told first-hand information about how, this lady has put her hands on Dante, and your response is that's not me. Acting like one of those women who say, well, when a man abuses a woman, oh, but that's not me. My portion is different. Your portion is exactly the same. You are second choice. But I'm gonna deal with that in another video. I'm disappointed in Zadia. I think that's what it really is. I'm not even angry anymore. I'm just disappointed that you can allow yourself to be in that situation where you could put hands on somebody else. Do you know what I mean? Right? But you're going to be screaming about, don't you find it suspicious? And it's really interesting that both Zadia and Camille screaming about these old edits, and yet this is not edited. This part right here is not edited, just like it wasn't for the Camille situation by the pool. You are being viewed as you are being viewed. You are not edited this way. You're being viewed this way because that's how you're behaving. There may be some edits in between that time, of course. But what we're seeing right now, it's not being disproved. We're seeing more and more of the behavior that's incorrect, wrong, and destructive to relationships. So I'm going to leave it there. Like I said, we'll do another video. We'll go into a bit more detail. So like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification uploads. We appreciate it.